The dial is inspired by the frozen landscapes of Kirigamine. The dial is inspired by the frozen landscapes of Kirigamine Highlands.
Yes! Yes! Come on!
I have the new Grand Seiko UFA hands-on with me for today's video. Now, this watch was announced at Watches and Wonders 2025, and while there were other releases, this UFA model definitely took the spotlight. I posted shorts and long form on this watch, but the major difference today is that those previous videos on my channel was the demo piece that I saw at Geneva, meaning there was no working movement and the time was perpetually stopped, so you couldn't see that spring drive glide. But in today's video, I'm going to share with you 5 details of Grand Seiko's UFA with brand new footage on a real working piece, and also compare it to existing Grand Seikos and give you my final thoughts at the end. Let's first start with the case. It uses the Evolution 9 case in titanium, but in a brand new size of 37mm. It has a thickness of 11.4mm, which is a very welcome thinner case than what we're used to from Grand Seiko. For reference, the Shunbun, the SLGB003, is actually 12.8mm. It has a compact lug-to-lug of 44.3mm, and this case size is nearly identical to the SLGB003 manual winding dress watch, so if you don't get to try on the UFA, I would try on the 305 for comparison. Now yes, this is the same Evolution 9 case from the White Birch or Lake Sua, except sized down to this smaller 37mm. And like the other Evolution 9 and Heritage case design, this watch features a screw-down crown and is water resistant to 100 meters, doable for swimming, despite not even being a fully sporty watch. There is a scratch-proof sapphire crystal on top, which is only slightly domed, and it's easy to read the time from any angle. Now, titanium is hypoallergenic, and it's very comfortable because it's lightweight for all-day wear. Now, even though on paper this watch is a 37mm, to me it actually fits more like a 38 to a 38.5mm, and the reason for that is because of the bracelet. So let's talk about number 2, the new bracelet. If you look at the watch from the profile view, you will see that the end links stick out, and you'll definitely see that difference when the watch is on your wrist. And like I mentioned, the SLGB003, what makes the 305 still wear smaller is because it has a beads of rice bracelet, and those end links do not stick out, it just goes straight down. The bracelet is also in high intensity titanium, no surprise there, with a 3-fold clasp and a micro adjust clasp. I know everyone's excited about the new micro adjust. So the bracelet starts at 20mm width at the case and has a slight taper to 18mm at the clasp, and the total length of the clasp is proportional to the lug-to-lug of the case, which makes the watch wearing experience feel balanced. Now, opening the clasp will reveal Grand Seiko's first official micro adjust clasp in the Evolution 9 case, and of course, while Grand Seiko has had micro adjusts on dive watches, I would say this new micro adjust is a huge improvement from the ratcheting style on those watches. It features 3 clicks, which is visually represented by these 3 lines, making it easy to see how much you've extended it. And it can be extended on the go in 2 different ways. Method 1, you can push down on the sides and pull as you normally would on a micro adjust, or number 2, the way I prefer to do it is where you lever the micro adjust downwards and push the clasp into itself to ratchet up or down. Now, this style and method of the micro adjust does take a little getting used to, but it is an interesting system to say the least. I think this watch will be really easy to pair with straps because of the 20mm lug width, and the fact that there are drilled lug holes, reducing your risk of scratching up the lugs of your watch. Now, in this video, I didn't personally get to pair any straps on this watch, but you know that's exactly what I would do. Now, before I get to number 3, I'd like to remind you guys that my store, Carrot & Co, is an authorized dealer for Grand Seiko, which is why I get access to get hands-on with these watches and do comparisons. So if you're interested in any Grand Seiko watches, please reach out to my store and subscribe to my channel if you love watches. Now, number 3, let's talk about the dial. The dial is inspired by the frozen landscapes of Kirigamine Highlands. It looks like a basket weave pattern up close with a slight tint of blue, and from afar, it can get mistaken for the White Birch, although the tint of blue in the 37mm case size will be the dead giveaway. The dial has applied indices, which are broad, faceted, and grooved, giving easy legibility and beauty. And the hour hand continues this design, similar to the applied hour markers. Now, some collectors refer to this hour hand as the chopped hour hand or the stubby hand, but according to Grand Seiko, using the hour hand with a similar width to the hour marker is to improve quick time reading. It's always about legibility and beauty, guys. Now, the minute hand is long and pointed and just nearly touches the minute chapter ring, while the tempered blue seconds hand glides perfectly just above that. And the date window at 3 o'clock features a framed date light window. So far, aside from the new dial texture, nothing is unusual. It's all the same kind of dial format we're used to seeing in the Evolution 9 case from Grand Seiko, except at the bottom reads U.F.A, which stands for ultra fine accuracy, which is a nice callback to the V.F.A models that Grand Seiko used to make. And I know some initial comments people disliked the U.F.A wording, but I actually really like it because of the V.F.A connection, and also I much prefer the word U.F.A over something like 3 days power reserve. At least U.F.A feels like if you know, you know. But what do you think? Let me know in the comments. So speaking of U.F.A, let's talk about number 4, the new movement. This is the 9R-B2. Now it looks similar to the 9R-A2, which is in the Evolution 9 Lake Suwa, for instance, which premiered several years ago. However, if you do a side-by-side with the Lake Suwa, you will see that the U.F.A rotor has one empty cavity while the Lake Suwa has 2. And also the placement of the glide wheel is in a completely different area from the Lake Suwa's glide wheel, which means that everything that the U.F.A is featuring is a brand new movement that had to be redesigned rather than just shrinking down the Lake Suwa movement. Now, Grand Seiko has once again evolved this movement to feature a spring drive movement even more accurate at 20 seconds per year. Yes, per year instead of per month. For reference, the Lake Suwa's 9RA2 movement is accurate to 10 seconds per month. So this new U.F.A model is 6 times more accurate than the spring drive in the Lake Suwa one. And even at 20 seconds per year, this is literally quartz accuracy. For example, the SBGN027 or any 9F quartz movement is accurate to 10 seconds per year. However, this U.F.A model is still self-winding or automatic. It has a mainspring, it can be hand wound, but through Grand Seiko's innovation with spring drive technology, they were able to use the quartz oscillator, a IC package, and a vacuum sealed regulation system that ensures stability over time. And obviously, I am no engineer, but an automatic winding movement that can hold its accuracy to 20 seconds per year comes out to something like 1.6 seconds per month or 0.055 seconds per day. That is unheard of accuracy standards for Grand Seiko to guarantee, and I haven't seen any other watch brands try to develop their own movement to this insanely accurate standard. Now the movement is nicely decorated with polished bevels and the jewel set bridges, all done at the Shinshu watch studio. Now while the Lake Suwa 9RA2 movement has a 5-day power reserve, the U.F.A 9RB2 has a 3-day power reserve. However, even with the reduced 3-day power reserve, which is still a lot, I think that is a fair trade-off to having a watch accurate to 20 seconds per year and also now in a smaller case size. And regarding the power reserve indicator being on the case back, that is definitely Grand Seiko reacting to comments from collectors who dislike the power reserve on the dial. Personally, I never cared if the power reserve indicator was on the case back because when it's on the dial, at least I can check it without having to remove the watch. And number 5, let's talk price. At the time of this video, the U.F.A is priced at $10,900. But this price point shouldn't be too shocking because the Lake Suwa I showed you earlier is priced at $11,000. However, I do want to let you guys know that earlier this year, Grand Seiko, like many brands, did a price increase across their collections, and it is rumored that this U.F.A model will also get a price increase later this year. Now, the reason for delaying the price increase on the U.F.A model specifically is because that the price increase would have happened before the U.F.A models were even delivered. You see, the U.F.A model actually got delayed. It was supposed to come out in June, and now it's already August, and now they're starting to come to the stores. And I think this is fair from the brand to delay the price increase because nobody likes a price increase on an item before they even get a chance to buy it. So while talking about price increases and never fun for me and never fun for you guys to listen to, at least thank you Grand Seiko for not increasing the price before the model was actually delivered, because that makes my job even harder having to explain to people, and it's just not fun for anyone. So if you are looking to get this U.F.A model, I would do it sooner than later just because at some point the new deliveries will get the new price increase. I don't know exactly what that's going to be right now, and it's possible that even if I gave you a price increase number, it could change as well, so it will happen later this year. Now here's my final thoughts. I have not done a full review on a Grand Seiko and I don't even remember how long, and that's because for the past few years some of Grand Seiko's newer releases have been more or less a new dial color or texture, some cool dial textures, but nothing that required a full new video. But with the announcement of the new Grand Seiko ultra fine adjustment, that changed everything. There are a lot of firsts with this watch. First, 37mm Evolution 9 case. First, micro adjust clasp on a non-diver model. First, U.F.A model. I think this case size presents new opportunities for those who have been admiring the Evolution 9 case from afar, but still wanted a few tweaks. I personally love the new case of 37mm. I used to think the Evolution 9 at 40mm wore fine on me, but over time I realized that I still much prefer watches in the 37 to 39mm diameter diameter, and this fits exactly in that category. While I like the idea of having the micro adjust, I am actually just as excited that the lugs is now 20 millimeters, because knowing me, I definitely be that person to put it on a different strap instead of the bracelet. I was also surprised when this watch was announced at Watches and Wonders, and I was surprised to not see the word limited edition, because Grand Seiko could have easily made their new UFA model with this new dial, new movement, new micro adjust class, new size in a limited edition, but they didn't. Now, even if you love everything that's going on with this new Grand Seiko, but you don't love, let's say, the dial, I think Grand Seiko is going in this direction, so hopefully we'll see new dial colors, maybe even a stainless steel version, but who knows if that's going to be this year or in the next couple of years. Now, the big question, would I actually buy this watch for myself? Right now, I am actually leaning towards yes, but I would love to know what you guys think of Grand Seiko's new UFA model. Judging by the amount of pre-orders we've had on this model already, I can definitely say that this is going to be Grand Seiko's most popular new release in the last couple of years, and definitely 2025. Thanks for checking out this review, and if you want to see another video, check out this one here.